Remember when car manufacturers thought wood paneling was the height of style? Or that pop-up headlights would revolutionize aerodynamics forever? The automotive industry is littered with bold innovations that seemed like game changers until they weren't. Today, we're diving into 20 car innovations that engineers and designers were certain would stand the test of time, but instead crashed and burned, from bizarre styling choices to technologies that were just a bit too ahead of their time. These automotive missteps reveal how we got to where we are today. Buckle up, we're taking a drive through automotive history's most interesting dead ends. Number 1, the Wankel Rotary Engine. In the 1960s, the Wankel Rotary Engine promised to revolutionize automobiles forever. Unlike traditional piston engines, these compact power plants use rotating triangular rotors instead of reciprocating pistons. They were smaller, lighter, had fewer moving parts, and could rev higher. Mazda bet big on this technology with their iconic RX-7 and RX-8 sports cars. But despite decades of development, the Wankel could never overcome its fatal flaws. Poor fuel efficiency, high oil consumption, and problematic emissions. The final nail in the coffin came with increasingly strict regulations worldwide. By 2012, Mazda had discontinued its last rotary-powered vehicle. Though occasionally hinted at as a range extender for electric vehicles, the dream of rotary-powered cars taking over the world remains permanently stalled. Number 2, T-tops and removable roof panels. In the 1970s and 80s, T-tops seemed like the perfect compromise between a convertible and a hardtop. These removable roof panels offered open-air driving without sacrificing structural rigidity. Popularized by the 1968 Corvette and later by Pontiac Firebirds and Nissan 300ZXs, T-tops were the epitome of cool. But the reality wasn't so dreamy. The seals inevitably leaked, leading to wet interiors and electrical problems. The panels were awkward to remove and store and created more wind noise than conventional hardtop. By the 2000s, T-tops had all but disappeared, relegated to nostalgic muscle cars, a distinctly retro feature that screams 1980s louder than neon leg warmers. Number 3, automatic seat belts. The 1980s brought us automatic seat belts, perhaps the most irritating safety innovation ever. The concept seemed sensible. Motorized tracks would automatically position the shoulder belt across the occupant when the door closed, increasing seat belt use when compliance was low. In practice, they were a nightmare. The belts would catch clothing, hair, or anything else in their path. Many users disconnected them out of frustration, defeating their purpose entirely. By the mid-1990s, driver-side airbags became mandatory in the U.S., eliminating the need for automatic belts, and drivers everywhere breathed a sigh of relief. Number 4, cassette and CD players. For decades, having a good sound system meant having the latest audio format player in your dashboard. 8 tracks gave way to cassettes, which yielded to CD players, some with trunk-mounted changers holding multiple discs. Premium vehicles in the early 2000s often featured in-dash 6-disc CD changers, representing the pinnacle of automotive audio technology. Then the digital revolution happened. The rapid shift to MP3 players, followed by smartphones, rendered physical media obsolete almost overnight. By 2015, most new cars had abandoned CD players entirely in favor of Bluetooth connectivity and USB port. Today's teenagers might never experience the unique frustration of a car cassette player eating their favorite mixtape. Number 5, pop-up headlights. Few automotive design elements scream retro cool quite like pop-up headlights. From the 1960s through the 1990s, these hideaway lights adorned everything from Corvettes to Miatas to Supras. They allowed designers to create sleek, aerodynamic front ends while still providing adequate illumination at night. Children and adults alike delighted in the mechanical wink as these lights emerged from their hiding places. Sadly, pedestrian safety regulations and improved fixed headlight technology spelled doom for these beloved features. The 2004 Corvette C6 marked the end of an era when it abandoned pop-ups after decades of use. Number 6. Ashtrays and cigarette lighters. For most of automotive history, cars came standard with multiple ashtrays, often in the front and rear, along with cigarette lighters featuring the iconic push-in heating element. These features reflected an era when smoking while driving was commonplace. As smoking rates declined and awareness of health risks increased, these once essential features began disappearing. The cigarette lighter socket remained, transformed into the power outlet for charging devices. But dedicated ashtrays gradually vanished from new car design. Number 7. Vent windows. Anyone who's ridden in classic cars from the 1950s and 60s might remember the small triangular windows at the front of the side windows. These vent windows, or wing windows, could be angled to direct fresh air into the vehicle without the buffeting and noise of fully open windows. Before air conditioning became standard, these clever little windows were essential for interior ventilation. They allowed for comfortable airflow even during rain and helped defog windows in cold weather. By the 1980s, vent windows had largely disappeared, victims of universal air conditioning, improved HVAC systems, more aerodynamic car designs, and power windows becoming standard equipment. Number 8. External spare tires. For decades, many SUVs, Jeeps, and off-road vehicles proudly displayed their spare tires on external rear mounts. This rugged, adventure-ready look became synonymous with outdoor capability and exploration. The external spare offered practical advantages. It didn't take up valuable cargo space, allowed for easier access in emergencies, and accommodated larger full-size spares rather than space-saving temporary tires. However, these external mounts gradually disappeared from all but the most dedicated off-road vehicles due to aerodynamics, fuel economy, security concerns, and complications with backup cameras. Today's crossover SUVs hide their compact spare underneath the cargo floor, if they include one at all. Number 9. Hidden gas cap. In the 1970s and 80s, many vehicles featured gas caps cleverly hidden behind taillights, license plates, or within the vehicle's bodywork. These designs prioritize clean aesthetics over practicality, making for sleeker vehicle exteriors without the disruption of a visible fuel door. Designers loved these concealed fuel fillers. The 1970s Dodge Charger featured a cap behind the pivoting license plate, while some Cadillacs concealed theirs behind a tail lamp assembly. These hidden caps became status symbols and conversation starters. However, the novelty wore off as practicality concerns mounted. Gas station attendants were frequently stumped about how to access the fuel filler. The mechanisms often broke over time, and by the 1990s, nearly all manufacturers had returned to conventional fuel doors. Number 10. Bench seats. For the first several decades of automotive history, bench seats were standard equipment. These continuous sofa-like seats could accommodate 3 passengers in front and often featured column-mounted shifters to maximize space. Beyond practical passenger capacity, bench seats held cultural significance. They allowed couples to sit close together while driving, creating the famous slide-across greeting when picking up a date. As automotive design prioritized safety and driving dynamics, individual bucket seats with center consoles became the norm. The 2013 Chevrolet Impala was the last passenger car to offer a front bench seat option in North America, marking the end of an era in automotive romance and practicality. Number 11. Car phones. Before smartphones became ubiquitous, having a built-in car phone represented the height of luxury and connectivity. Beginning in the 1980s, high-end vehicles offered integrated telephone systems with handsets mounted in the center console or armrest. These early systems required substantial hardware, including separate antennas and large transceiver units often mounted in the trunk. The first car phones could cost thousands of dollars to install and even more to operate. By the late 1990s, smaller cellular phones with better coverage had made dedicated car phones obsolete. The final blow came with Bluetooth connectivity, which allowed drivers to use their personal mobile phones through the car's audio system. Number 12. Carburetor engines. For most of automotive history, carburetors were the standard method of mixing air and fuel in combustion engines. These mechanical devices relied on airflow and vacuum principles to deliver the proper mixture to the engine. Most mechanics could tune and repair them with basic tools. Though reliable and well understood, carburetors had significant limitations. They couldn't adjust precisely to different driving conditions, contributed to higher emissions, and reduced fuel efficiency. As emissions regulations tightened in the 1970s and 80s, electronic fuel injection began replacing carburetors. By the early 1990s, even the most stubborn manufacturers had abandoned carburetors in new vehicles. Today, they exist primarily in vintage cars and lawn equipment, while modern drivers enjoy the benefits of instant cold starts and better fuel economy. Number 13. Opera windows. Among the most distinctive styling elements of 1970s luxury cars were small windows positioned in the C-pillars behind the rear passenger windows. These opera windows served little practical purpose but signified elegance and harked back to the coach-built luxury cars of earlier eras. These windows reached peak popularity during the personal luxury car boom, adorning vehicles like the Lincoln Continental Mark Series, Cadillac Eldorado, and Chrysler Cordoba, with its famous rich Corinthian leather. Some designs featured ornate shapes or decorative frames. As automotive design trends shifted toward aerodynamics and minimalism in the 1980s and 90s, these decorative windows fell out of favor. Modern luxury signifiers emphasize technology and performance rather than ornate styling touches. Number 14. Hood ornaments. For much of the 20th century, hood ornaments served as three-dimensional logos proudly perched at the leading edge of a car's hood. Mercedes' Star, Jaguar's Leaping Cat, and Rolls-Royce's Spirit of Ecstasy became iconic symbols of automotive prestige. These ornaments weren't just decorative. They often functioned as sights to help drivers position their vehicles, particularly important in the days before power steering. They became powerful branding tools recognizable from a distance. Several factors contributed to their decline. Pedestrian safety regulations made protruding elements problematic, rising theft rates led to insurance concerns, and aerodynamic designs favored sleeker front ends. Today, only a few ultra-luxury brands maintain traditional standing hood ornaments. Number 15. Wood paneling. Few automotive styling trends scream suburban 1970s, quite like wood paneling on station wagons. Though it began as structural wood in early woody wagons of the 1930s, by the 1960s and 70s, it had transformed into vinyl or fiberglass appliques, merely simulating wood grain. These faux wood panels adorned countless family wagons, most iconically the Ford Country Squire and Jeep Grand Wagoneer. They evoked a curious blend of rustic nostalgia and middle-class prosperity in suburban driveways across America. As minivans and SUVs replaced station wagons in the 1990s, wood paneling quickly fell out of favor. The 1996 Buick Roadmaster Estate was among the last production vehicles to offer wood appliques as standard equipment. Very specific era of American automotive design, beloved by some, mocked by others, but instantly recognizable to all. Number 16. Motorized seat belts. We touched on automatic seat belts earlier, but they deserve special recognition for their uniquely irritating implementation. In response to U.S. regulations requiring passive restraint systems, manufacturers created door-mounted motorized belts that would automatically position themselves across occupants when the door closed. These contraptions were engineering marvels that solved a problem nobody wanted addressed. The shoulder belts would glide along ceiling-mounted tracks, often startling first-time passengers. Many users defeated the system by leaving the belt positioned behind them. Beyond being annoying, these systems created unique hazards. If a battery died, occupants could find themselves trapped by belts that wouldn't retract. When airbags became mandatory in 1998, these Rube Goldberg-like belt systems quickly disappeared. Number 17. Built-in car vacuum cleaners. In 1979, Oldsmobile introduced an innovation that seemed perfectly targeted to family vehicles, a built-in vacuum cleaner. Hidden in the trunk of their custom cruiser station wagon, this vacuum aimed to help parents quickly clean up after messy children and road trips. The idea resurfaced occasionally over the decades, most notably with Honda's HondaVac system introduced in the 2014 Odyssey minivan. This built-in vacuum was prominently featured in advertising as a practical solution for family messes. Despite seeming like a natural fit for family vehicles, these systems never became industry standards. They added cost, complexity, and maintenance requirements while offering less power than portable vacuums. The HondaVac was discontinued in 2022 when the supplier stopped production. Featured in advertising as a practical solution for family messes, today's parents generally rely on portable vacuums or gas station cleaning stations, proving that sometimes the simplest solution remains the most practical, even in our technology-obsessed automotive industry. Number 18. Frameless windows. For decades, many coupes, convertibles, and even some sedans featured elegant frameless windows, door glass without the surrounding metal frame at the top edge. When all windows were lowered, these designs created a clean, uninterrupted opening that enhanced the open-air feeling. Manufacturers from Subaru to BMW embraced these stylish windows that enhanced their vehicles' sporty image. The design reached its zenith in hardtop models that eliminated the B-pillar entirely, creating a completely open side profile when all windows were lowered. However, these elegant windows came with significant drawbacks. They were more prone to wind noise and water leaks. They often developed alignment problems as vehicles aged, and they provided less structural integrity during side impacts. As safety regulations tightened and consumer expectations for quiet interiors increased, frameless windows became increasingly rare. While some premium sports cars and luxury vehicles still feature frameless glass, they've largely disappeared from mainstream vehicles, a case where practical concerns ultimately outweighed aesthetic appeal. Number 19. Flip-up navigation screens. In the early 2000s, as navigation systems first appeared in luxury vehicles, many manufacturers opted for flip-up screens that would emerge dramatically from the dashboard when needed and disappear when not in use. These motorized displays seem to offer the best of both worlds: a clean dashboard aesthetic when parked or driving without navigation, and a perfectly positioned screen when guidance was required. Brands like Audi, Lexus, and Infiniti incorporated these theatrical displays into their premium interiors. As with many moving parts, problems eventually emerged. The mechanisms could fail over time. Screens might get stuck in the up or down position, and the motors added weight and complexity. As car interiors increasingly centered around permanent digital displays for various functions, the justification for hiding the screen disappeared. Today's vehicles feature ever larger fixed screens that handle navigation, climate controls, vehicle settings, and entertainment. The briefly popular flip-up screen has been relegated to automotive history, though one can't help but miss the satisfying motorized movement that made every drive feel a bit more special. Number 20. Manual windows and lock. For much of automotive history, manually operated windows and door locks were standard equipment. These simple mechanical systems required drivers and passengers to physically crank handles to raise and lower windows and push down lock posts to secure doors. The simplicity of these systems was both a strength and weakness. They rarely failed catastrophically and could be operated without electrical power, but they also required reaching across the vehicle to adjust passenger side controls and made securing all doors a multi-step process. Power windows and locks initially appeared as luxury features, but gradually became standard equipment through the 1990s and 2000s. By the 2010s, finding a new car with manual windows required specifically ordering a base model vehicle, often available only to fleet customers. Today, even entry-level economy cars come standard with power accessories, completing the transition of what was once considered a luxury feature into a basic expectation. Those manual cranks now exist primarily in the memories of drivers who once built impressive forearm strength from operating them on summer road trips. To conclude, that's our journey through 20 automotive innovations that seemed like the future but ended up in the dustbin of history. The fascinating thing about these obsolete features isn't just that they failed, but what they tell us about how our relationship with cars has evolved over time. From the rise and fall of wood paneling to the slow death of the manual transmission, these automotive dead ends remind us that not all innovation stands the test of time. Sometimes the simplest solution proves most enduring, while seemingly groundbreaking technologies become quaint memories within a generation. What's your favorite discontinued car feature? Drop a comment below. And if you enjoyed this automotive archaeology, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into car culture, past and present. Until next time, keep your eyes on the road and your hands upon the wheel, no matter what innovations come and go.